Hello, I'm Mayor Brad Pike. Welcome to the Explore Eagle podcast, where you can learn more about our city of Eagle and our community. Hi everybody, I'm Brad Pike, the mayor for the city of Eagle, and we have a special guest with us today, Public Works Director Eric Ziegenfuss, and welcome Eric.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, it's pretty good that we have the opportunity to share with different department heads and what you're actually doing, but I want to get a little bit into the your life prior to Eagle Public Works. Can you give us a little history on what you did in life and what brought you to Eagle?
Sure. Yeah, no, I guess my background, I'm an Idaho native. I've born and raised here, wouldn't know anything different. I guess started my life out, got an education in Boise State, and became a HVAC journeyman. That career path took me into a work of building maintenance to building race cars, just kind of all over, and then got a job working for the federal government where we maintained federal properties, did that for about 12 years. That was all over. That was kind of crazy at some points. We worked on post offices, we worked in courtrooms, all these things, but it exposed me to all sorts of different trades. HVAC, obviously, being a journeyman, hydraulics, pneumatics, fleet maintenance, all this stuff. Then, through some channels of communication, found that I had a position that was open here at the City of Eagle, and about 8 years ago, they had a position open, applied for it, and then it turned into a director's position, which actually formulated the Public Works Department. So before that time, there wasn't really a maintenance department. It was under Parks and Rec, but then they broke us out, and now we take care of all sorts of fun stuff.
And a big responsibility for sure. So what are some of the responsibilities that the Public Works is doing for the city of Eagle?
So something that's a little bit different here in the city of Eagle is when people think of Public Works, they usually think of streets, street lights, sewer, water, things like that. We don't do that in Public Works. Well, we do, but we don't. So we take care of the downtown street historical lights, intersection lights throughout the city. But we take care of all the parks, facility maintenance, fleets, anything to do with heavy equipment. Trails is another thing that's in Public Works. So that's what we take care of. The construction projects, also a lot of the capital plan. For the last 8 years of being here, we've had the opportunity to be a part of the City Hall expansion, library remodels, redoing Gerber Park, Merrill Park. Those are just some of the big highlights.
And of course, it requires a number larger than most staffs would have in the city. So, yeah, you want to talk about a little bit how you delegate out some of the responsibilities and,
Sure.
And how many staff members do you actually have, and what would be the optimal amount to help make the city run even smoother?
Yeah. So right now we have a staff of 20. As you can imagine, maintaining all of our parks, maintaining all of our trail system, the facilities and all that. We have staff that's from janitorial staff, trail staff, park staff. We have staff that just takes care of our fleet, all aspects of the city. We're funded for 23 at the moment, looking at trying to fill those positions. But we segregate it kind of through a hierarchy. We have technicians, we have leads, we have a superintendent, and then obviously a director. So that's how we split that all up. All the leads, they take care of kind of certain entities. So we have like a trails lead, we have a landscape lead, we have a facilities lead, and those gentlemen have been here the longest, most experience, and then we try and work our way up from technician up through the chain.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And on top of that, now you also have the responsibility for emergency operations management of the city and how that kind of adds to it, but that's such an important factor and part of the city. So you want to talk a little bit about that responsibility?
Sure. The City of Eagle, I guess we've had the pleasure of working with Ada County Emergency Management. Joe Lombardo and Paul that's down there, and in the last few years we've really improved that effort. If the citizens, I guess we have an emergency operations plan that's been adopted. It's been the first time, and I think in Eagle history, I hope that's correct. So we're planning for any kind of situation with an event or if there's natural disaster and things like that. In the public works side, because our staff is so huge and we have the pleasure of, having so many kind of big boy toys, if you will, if there was any kind of a disaster, that we would be kind of Johnny on the spot. So we like to run exercises. We are planning for any kind of an event with their partnership, and obviously here in the city, we formulated a group that's with Chet. I guess that's here, yeah. That's a city hall, I guess, event team, or that's here. So keeping our staff safe, keeping obviously the citizens in mind if there's any kind of event. I oversee all of that. So we work with Ada County Sheriff, all those things. So hopefully that answers it.
Yeah, and it does. And you and I, we've been working on that citizen starting program, but maybe a CERT program coming up in the future, but also the taking care of the city campus and the employees here. So that's something that I appreciate, the fact that you're willing to work on that with me, because that's a big thing, and I take that very seriously, and I know you do as well. Some of the equipment that you guys have, because you also have a large pool of equipment and cache of materials that you use. Where do you store all that stuff? Right now, where are you, and what would you like to see in the future to help facilitate all that?
Oh, this is my favorite subject. Thank you for bringing this up. So this kind of goes back and maybe a little bit in the personal life. I love anything with an engine connected to it. In my childhood, we built race cars and drag boats, and my son and I, we built snowmobiles and all these things. And so there's kind of a pertinent thing to all of those things, right? It's shop space. With a staff of 20, and we have somewhere around 96 pieces of equipment that we run here at the city. So we have a backhoe, we have a couple mini excavators, and all those things. All those things take space, and they take time to maintain and kind of all that. Right now, let me back up. We rented shop space that was here, but we outgrew pretty exponentially when we started bringing some of our services in-house. We did that to save taxpayer money because subcontracting just got kind of expensive. So with that comes more staff, more equipment, more trucks, all those things. We outgrew that rental space, and now we are working in a temporary space over off of Highway 16 that we use to its fullest, for sure. It's not exactly our dream spot, but it's better than what we had. Definitely in the future, if there was an opportunity to have, a dedicated spot that wasn't for development or some more temporary spot, that was what we need. But we do work out of a spot that's there. It's about 10 acres. Used to be an old veterinary clinic that's there, so we're trying to make that as best as we can and work as best as we can. So if I had my choice and my dream of what we could build, a mechanic shop and a wood craft shop, we could build things for the city and kind of that's what I'd love to have. And I hope that in the future we do get that
absolutely.
for staff.
The whole courtyard, a whole place would be a really more beneficial to the community for exponentially getting things out to the need in more
And we've had conversation too of partnering with other entities, right? Ada County Sheriff, Eagle Fire, Eagle Sewer, and we've contacted them too to kind of spread that around, because Eagle is a awesome community, and the thing of it is that the partnerships that you can build and kind of help in all those entities, if we can, then we will. So it's in motion, but we would love to have a shop space that we'd like to call home, and that's what we operate at.
Eric, also, is there any projects that you're working on right now that you really think is important for the public to see, understand, or get the background as to why or what you're working on?
Yeah, so in Public Works, we've completed a lot of large-scale, projects. Like I said, one of my favorite, is when we got to redo Gerber Park. I love telling the story. Maybe not a public story, I should say. But when I first started Gerber Park, the splash pad, it was a little outdated, had some issues. So during the recession, there was some funding problems with maintenance and things. And I'll never forget, we went out there and we were trying to figure out what was wrong with this splash pad. And there was a school bus of kids that showed up from the YMCA. And so you can imagine, all this excitement and all these kids, they come out and they stand underneath this splash pad bucket. And me and the guys were staring there and we're watching, we're going, what is taking so long for this bucket to fill up? And we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting, and this 5-gallon bucket dumps on these kids, and they run around and scream and this and that, and then all of them gather right underneath this bucket again, and they wait and they wait and they wait, and we're like, oh, we really need to help this out.
Yeah.
So we tore up Gerber Park, and we had the flagship, if you will, of kind of state of the art at the time, and there was just kind of a statue of kind of what we strive for here in Eagle when it comes to projects. We want to make a statement and make sure that we're being, wise with taxpayer money and something that lasts us a long time. So what we're working on now is a few things. So Heritage Park. I'm sure everyone is well aware of the downtown mobility project with ACHD, and with that construction, kind of a facelift with Heritage Park, we're hoping to do at the same time. The gazebo by no means is going to be torn down or anything crazy like that, but the restroom facility has been in dire need of expansion for the events. So that's an exciting, I guess, project. Also to add a little bit more flair to that park. Some of the landscaping is just outdated and needs a little help. We also wanted to add some stereo equipment things to that park to make it more updated. So that's a neat project. There's all sorts of projects that are going on all the time at the Eagle Bike Park. If some of the new citizens that are here haven't been out there, would highly recommend going out there. We have 20 miles of hiking trails, biking trails, and to see some of the amazing riders that are out there. We have pro riders that travel across the world to come ride here in Eagle. Some fun things, we get to have some fun out there. This year, we opened up 7 Sins, which is 7 consecutive downhill jumps, and just to see some of the riders that go out there and hit that is impressive. So trail building, that's something that's always exciting. We're doing a lot of things here in City Hall. As a growing city, we have more staff that's going to be coming, so we need more space. Maybe not exciting, but needed for city staff. But yeah, I mean, those are just some things that come to mind as far as projects.
Awesome. Yeah, that's the big responsibility that you have on your shoulders. And I just appreciate the fact that you're able to do it. And here's the deal, Eric, personally, you always have a positive attitude. You're always out there asking, what could I do for you? You're always willing to help, get your staff involved, and you do a lot of important and fun things for your staff to keep their motivation and their desire to work for Eagle here, and I really appreciate that.
Public Works is kind of like the linemen in a football game, right? They're kind of the unsung heroes of the game, right? We have staff that, they clean up after the public on a daily basis. We have, I can't tell you, maybe it's not appropriate to tell you the things that we find, things like that, but, they're out there prepping parks for kids to come out and do, soccer league. The YMCA, like we said in the story about Splash Pad, they're there every day, schools and this and that. So if anything, I would say if you see a Public Works staff member or trail staff member, any of that, just tell them, hey, thanks for taking care of that for us.
Absolutely.
When we have people that will walk 20 miles a day with a weed eater in their hand, to make the green belt, just pretty for bike users. And, we have people that clean restrooms every day, pick up dog waste for hours and hours on end. Please, if you see any of my crew members out there, tell them thank you. The other thing is, if the public would like to help, we have volunteer events. That saves hundreds and hundreds of man hours to come out in one day and help us paint. Anything that you do around your house that we would do around the city, that helps. But also just, little things. If you see a dog waste bag on the side of the trail, hey, if you pick that up for us, that'd be great. Or if you see trash in the park, pick up that thing or whatever. Small things like that. We really believe in many hands make light work.
Absolutely.
Right? Especially for everything we've got to take care of. But, all in all, we'd have to say, for a city our size and how many our citizens really take good care of our facility, and on our parks, and we try and do our best. So
I appreciate that.
yeah.
If somebody wants to get involved, or they want to, how do they contact Public Works if they see something that needs immediate attention outside of, we don't always have them dial 911 for something that's not really a true emergency, but it could lead to something. So how do they get a hold of your department? Is there a contact that you feel for the public should know about?
Yeah, so we have an after-hour service. We're 24/7, 365, and if you call City Hall, the number that's there, 208-939-6813, there's a phone tree that'll take you to the on-call phone. Or after hours, we have an after-hours call service that'll get you right to one of our technicians and whatever needs to be done.
And I think we'll provide that with the with this video and stuff for the public to see it as well. So we appreciate the opportunity there. And then, is there anything in the wrap up that you think you would like to add that you didn't get an opportunity to talk about in the interview?
If anything, it's a privilege to work here. It's for the City of Eagle. I would encourage, I guess, citizens to get involved in their city. I mean, this is a great city. There's lots to do. There's always something to do. If you're interested in giving back to the parks and all that, we're always looking for volunteer projects, or even, if you'd like a job, hey, if you like mowing grass, this and that, comes with a free tan and a workout every day.
No kidding, right?
We can take care of that. But no, I think all in all, Eagle is a unique place to live. It's a unique place to work. We try and strive for small town feel with big town results. We appreciate everything that the city does for us, and it's amazing to go out every day. My staff comes to me and they're like, oh, that's Jim, or oh, that's Bill, and we see him every day walking the park, or oh, that's Fido, because they walk the greenbelt. Some of the people that we see on the trails that we just meet, they're from Michigan, they're from North Carolina, they're from Florida, to come here just to experience Eagle, Idaho.
What a great ambassador opportunity you have to provide for the city of Eagle too, with that exposure to other people.
Yeah, so hopefully I'm doing a good job.
No, I think you are. So, Eric, we appreciate, like I said earlier, all the hard work you do, and you really dedicate yourself and your time to the city, and I personally appreciate that. And I can only have good accolades for you, because you're a real good person and you're a real good worker, and I appreciate all that.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah, well, thanks for being with us today.
Hey, no problem. Anytime.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Explore Eagle Podcast, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve you as the Mayor of Eagle. If you have any topics you would like us to discuss on the podcast, please email us at pio@cityofeagle.org.